India seems to be charging itself in terms of sales of EV vehicles. 1 million vehicles sold already in 2023, and though it may still be only a small portion of the overall automobile segment, it's growing. And guess what? Uttar Pradesh is leading that trend, with Maharashtra and Karnataka coming in second and third. Pratibha Raman has the details.
India seems to be zooming with electric vehicles, literally and figuratively, with little noise. EV sales topped the 1 million mark in the country in just 9 months in 2023, and the year is yet to close. Uttar Pradesh tops the list in EV registrations this year. Maharashtra comes a close second and Karnataka stands third, overtaking Delhi. UP registered a 144% jump last year in EV registrations, and Maharashtra 130% and Karnataka 187%. Total number of EVs as on August 2023 in UP is 5,74,967. In Maharashtra, it is 3,05,006, and Karnataka registers 2,48,747. Trisha G is one of the over 2 million Indians zipping to college without carbon emissions.
I think for now, this electric vehicle is actually very important. Than getting a petrol vehicle, this is far more better. There are so many health issues also going on in the environment, right? There are so many people affected through asthma also. So why do you need a petrol vehicle when you have this? I think it's a very comfortable vehicle, you can just go on a very smooth way, and I don't think you'll have any glitch in driving this also.
Over 2.8 million registered EVs are plying on Indian roads as of August 8, 2023. 56% of EVs sold in 2023 captured by the two-wheeler segment. From financial year 2021 to 2023, EV vehicle registration has jumped by 196% in Karnataka. Registration of EV vehicles above 5 lakh rupees from financial year 2022 to 2023 has recorded a 74% increase. Total number of EV vehicles registered in Karnataka from January 2023 to September crosses 1 lakh when it was 95,000 in 2022. Percentage increase in EV registration across India in 2019 was 28%. While it dropped in 2021, it surged in 2021 with 165%, in 2022 with 209%. While the Uttar Pradesh government introduced subsidy incentives for EV customers, the Karnataka government opted for road tax exemption to promote the sale of these vehicles.
So we have made permit list for all these electric vehicles. That is the reason there is an increase of all these electric vehicles.
India, however, is yet to up the game with EV charging stations. According to reports as on March 21st, 2023, a total of over 6,500 public charging stations are operational in the country. Propelling electric vehicles for the future in India is gradually taking shape. If the governments make the right kind of budget and the corporations make the right kind of investments, we are well on the road to keeping the environment clean and breathing easy. With camera person Govind, Pratibha Raman in Bengaluru for NDTV.
Well, so joining us this evening, Pawan Mulkutla, Director, Integrated Transport, Electric Mobility and Hydrogen, WRI India. Thanks so much, Pawan, for taking time out to speak to us. While the growth percentage figures, Pawan, are very encouraging, this is still a very, very small portion of the entire automobile market, right?
Yeah, Veera, the numbers may sound very small, but let's not forget that we weren't talking about EVs 5 years back. In fact, Karnataka launched its policy somewhere in 2018, right? We have exactly been 5 years into this. And if you see totally what has happened earlier this year, we were looking at numbers. We have over more than 1 million two-wheelers, 1 million three-wheelers, and a couple of, I think, close to thousands of cars, and of course over 5,000 buses. So I think the transition is happening because I think there was a need for this whole trust to be built, and finally I think we are passing that test right now where people are becoming comfortable with EV products. So you'll see a lot more acceptance and adoption in the next couple of years.
Is there a geographic location or segment that's really driving that growth in India, Pawan?
No, I think geographically Karnataka does well. Then you have a lot of vehicles in Uttar Pradesh, in Maharashtra, in many of the states. And many of the states are actually leading. I'll tell you, Delhi, of course, is a very good example. But of course, Delhi also is more a smaller state when you compare to others. But what is happening, I would say, Veera, is that a lot more adoption right now in two-wheeler segment, specifically because there's a lot more products out there, and there's like people have tested, they have started feeling comfortable. What we say as TCO, the cost parity is finally being achieved between EVs and the ICE counterpart. So you actually see that what are people looking for? Performance and the unit economics, and both are happening right now in two-wheeler. For three-wheelers, of course, it's been there for a very long time. It used to be lead acid based, and that transition is now happening with lithium. But the most amazing part is the buses, because actually right now we already have 5,500 buses on roads, and we have committed to more than 20,000 buses. And in fact, India's biggest journey will be with the electric bus story. You're going to see only electric buses being adopted right now. I think most of the states are going to start phasing out diesel buses and CNG in the long run. And one segment which I think we need a lot more to do, which we haven't seen, is trucks. There, I think a lot more sentiment needs to be and trust needs to be earned, and I think we don't have enough products. So I think there, more than EVs, I would say a zero emission approach would be better when we're talking about trucks per se.
Extremely interesting insights there, Pawan. Going forward, what would be the key challenges? Is it availability of charging points? Is it a psychological change that's possibly holding back people?
I think all that you have mentioned, everything is going to be a challenge, but I think we have also learned how to address these challenges, right? Today, I don't think charging infrastructure is as big as a challenge as it used to be, because we have building bylaws that are have been changed, where you right now see that two-wheeler charging at home locations and for cars are becoming more possible. But big challenge, absolutely, charging would be a challenge for truck segment, for commercial vehicles, because you really need a lot of space and you need to do it by side of state highways or national highways. That's one thing. The other model would be that we need, other challenge that we need to address is still the Indian market is extremely cost sensitive. So I think subsidies and incentives in some form will need to continue for another at least 3 years or so. I think that's the understanding, and then you will see that the prices are going to come down, the battery prices are going to fall, and it's going to be a lot more affordable. But in terms of products, I think cars need to see more products actually in the market, because unless you're talking about performance, I think our Indian market is very crazy about performance in the two-wheeler and four-wheeler segment. So I think the industry, the manufacturers will definitely need to address that. Otherwise, I think the shift could pose a big challenge.
This is a global trend, but is there an India-specific learning that we need to take when it comes to EV, something where we stand clear of the rest of the world?
I think one of the things that we really need to look in India is most of the transition globally has been in the car segment, right? And that's the EV story we hear about. And I think for us, it's very clear that our transition is going to be with two-wheelers and buses. And I think that's where we really need to focus. I think cars will automatically come, and that nudge will happen. The opportunity for us as we export a lot of two-wheeler segment, I think we really need to catch up on that race to ensure that we do two-wheeler segment really well. And right now we're talking about the scooter model. we really need to start thinking how would we compete in the 100cc, 125cc segment where people really actually, that's the segment where people buy a lot of their vehicles. I think that's a unique challenge which India really needs to solve, and that way we'll be able to capture both the African market and the Southeast Asian market.
Certainly the EV trend is something we'll all look very closely at. Thank you so much, Pawan, for joining us and sharing those thoughts. That's all we have time for on this show, but the news continues here on NDTV.